Happy Tuesday. This is later in the day than when I usually get these videos made, but hey, had things I had to do today. My rest day is going okay. Kind of some funny things going on with my knee, but I feel like I'll be ready to go tomorrow for riding. I'm gonna ride 30 minutes tomorrow. Don't have much time to ride, but I'm gonna try and get it in and get some work on maybe just different basic carving movements and some 360s if I feel like it. But mainly I've been trying to work on speed lately, not a lot of shifting because I'm trying to let my back heal. That's the plan, and then back on back workout, upper back and lower back, actually back squats on Thursday, so looking forward to that too. What was on my mind as far as the topic today is this whole idea of like what you should focus on as an endomorph when you're, you know, doing your calories every day. And for instance, my calories are set at 2,760 calories. I do 25% carbohydrate. That is 172 grams, which is, I believe, like 670 calories. When you're doing your carbohydrates, you should count all of your carbohydrates, including your fruit and vegetable carbs. Now, you don't have to go over the vegetables all crazy like, but if you're getting in a large amount of vegetables, then you should probably count them. You know, I know it can get tedious, but the reason why I say that is because I've been looking at some guys that are getting extremely lean, and they're counting everything. I mean, you know, some say, oh, you don't have to count the carbs from vegetables, but some do. I think you should. I think you should count everything, because if you're spinning your wheels and you're not seeing changes in your body, it's going to make a huge difference in those carb numbers, especially for us because of insulin. See, that's our big problem. Our big problem is that insulin. So whenever you're looking at those carbs is how much we're spiking our insulin every day. See, I only have 172 grams. So I'm even counting the carbohydrates that I get from fruits and vegetables in those numbers, because once at the percentage of body fat that I want to get to, those numbers have to be, you know, or those foods have to be accounted for. You know, because of, you know, if you're trying to get basically 9-10%, you know, for me, my body, I can't say what it's like for you, but for my body, you know, once I start getting down into a certain weight, let's just say like 185 is a pretty low weight for me when I start having some difficulty getting into fat stores, you know, stubborn fat, whatnot. When I get down to when I get down to 185, I have to start backing my carbs way back, you know, and that's, you know, as endomorphs, we need to look at the carbs when we're in those stages more than we look at the caloric intake, you know. So if you watch those carbohydrate numbers, you know, like, you know, it is just imperative that I do not go over 172 grams per day, including the fruit. I know I've said you don't got to count the fruit in the past. I'm not going to give out that information, because just because it worked for me does not mean that I should say that it's going to work for other people, because I was doing some very specific things at that time. One big thing is that when I was cutting weight, when I was on a high fruit diet, high carb, high fruit diet, is I wasn't lifting. See, so your cut is going to be miserable, you know, unless you're taking in super high fruit when you're lifting. So I might not even have been able to do that, you know, if I was lifting. I don't know. So since I can't speak from experience in that atmosphere, in that environment, then I'm not going to speak like that. I'm a lifter now. I'm lifting now. I tell people that they should lift. I feel that you should lift, because I feel that what happened to me will happen to you. You will lean down and then you will have this flat look, and you'll just look more like skinny fat, and you won't even be happy. So I'm not going to tell you what's going to get you to skinny fat. I'm going to tell you what I think will get you to a muscular build. counting those carbohydrates, counting every single carbohydrate, you know, just because it's so important for our, you know, for body weight, or, you know, for weight management for endomorphs, you know, and making sure you're hitting those numbers. You know, get all your carbs in. Don't not get your carbs, because you're only getting 25% carbs. You know, just like, you know, for myself, those 172 grams of carbs, I'm gonna hit those 172 every day, because when as my body weight goes down, the grams that are available to me in carbohydrates go down. So when I'm 170, I can't eat 172 grams of carbs per day and stay lean as an endomorph. It's probably like 150 or something like that, which is ridiculous, but you got to hit those numbers, and you got to hit them in an enjoyable way. You know, so instead of, you know, you want to get your fruit and your nutrients in, but the thing about it is on certain days, hey, take your multivitamin. You know, that'll get you your nutrients that you get from fruits and vegetables, and then load up on some, you know, corn tortillas and sweet potatoes and stuff like that, and oatmeal. You know, use those carbs for something that's satiating and filling, something that's going to replenish those glycogen stores. Not saying that fruit can't, but it's just not the same. It's just a liquid form. It's not as filling as eating oatmeal or eating, you know, French fries, you know, for a cheat meal. It's just not the same. So find carbohydrates that are as enjoyable as possible. Get yourself some carbohydrates that are going to make you feel full. That's how you're going to lean down, you know, in a right mind state. You know, because I did the all fruit thing. It didn't work. It wasn't sustainable. I've talked about this before. The fruit thing is awesome. I loved it. You feel great, everything. But it's just not long-term sustainable. You cannot live like that forever, especially if you're gonna lift. If you're gonna lift at and I've even cut back to my volume, but even at the volume that I'm lifting at right now, I cannot do the all fruit and vegetable thing and maintain, you know, and feel full and everything. Yeah, I can't do it. Not personally. I'm not speaking for someone else. You may be able to do it. Awesome, wonderful for you. But for me, I just don't feel like I could lift at the volume I am and just eat fruits and vegetables. Just say, no matter how high the carb is. And eventually, as I've said before, those carbohydrate numbers will dwindle down so low that those fruits will matter if you're trying to get lean, and you will hold that fat, those couple layers of fat, if you do not cut that out, because you're spiking your insulin. You're an endomorph. So count the carbohydrates, get those carbohydrates in. Count the macros, not the calories. Count the macros. Make sure you're getting your carbohydrates, all the carbs you need per day. Make sure you're hitting your protein. My protein's set at 35%. So, you know, it's a lot of protein per day, you know, and I'm having a lot of difficulty with it, but it is what it is, folks. Happy Tuesday.